Road trip tonight. They are in Cincinnati. And a beautiful night for baseball, along with Jim Edmonds, Erica Weston, Jim Hayes. I'm Dan McLaughlin. 82 degrees on the banks of the Ohio at the Great American Ballpark. So there's a look at Mike Schilt, and that's Freddie Benavides, who will be the manager tonight. David Bell serving a one-game suspension. The Cubs and the Reds got into it over the weekend, so Freddie Benavides will serve as the manager tonight for Cincinnati. Colton Wong at the top of the lineup, then Tommy Edman, he'll be the left fielder. Paul Goldschmidt, Brad Miller serving as the designated hitter. Paul DeYoung, Yadier Molina, Matt Carpenter, Dexter Fowler, a couple of home runs over the weekend, and Dylan Carlson, the center fielder and batting ninth. Anthony DeSclafani is the right-hander going tonight for St. Louis. As Scott mentioned on the pregame show, Al and Brad Thompson, there's a handful of Cardinals that have pretty good numbers against this right-hander, and tonight will be his fifth start.
Yeah, you got a couple of guys that have faced this guy a lot. You can see his Hyundai pitch arsenal. Throws the ball pretty hard. Four-seamer and a sinker, good changeup, a lot of sliders. You know, he's one of those guys that's hit and miss. You know, he's going to get a couple guys that are going to struggle. There's a couple guys in the lineup that struggle with him, and there's a couple guys that really hit him. So always interesting, though, in Cincinnati with that ballpark and the warm weather.
So Colton Wong will lead things off. The Reds pretty busy today at the trade deadline. Archie Bradley was added to their bullpen. A bullpen that has the fourth worst ERA in Major League Baseball. And the first pitch is strike, and we're underway in this three-game series. They also added center fielder Brian Goodwin from the Angels. As Wong looks at a ball. 1 ball and 1 strike, and a shift on the right side. Colton is seeing about 5 pitches per plate appearance at the top of the Cardinal lineup, and there's a strike on the bottom of the zone. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, Colton's done a really nice job, especially lately, but mostly this year of just seeing the average isn't there, but he's seen a lot more pitches. He's having good at bats. You know, it's one of those guys that when you do everything right and nothing happens, you try to start changing things. He hasn't done that yet because that's not what he needs to do. He needs to stay with his game plan. The ball will start falling for him.
And a little chopper hit to the right side. The second baseman, Moustakas, puts it away. Colton, one of the players, not great numbers against the right-hander, just 1 now for 24 against Anthony DeSclafani. The Reds defensively tonight as we go around the horn, presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Aquino just called up. He's in left field. Akiyama in center. Castellanos is in right. Along their infield, Suarez, Galvis, Moustakas, and Votto. Tucker Barnhart is behind the plate. Here's Tommy Edman, 5 for his last 14. And first pitch swinging.
97. That's the thing, though. He's going to throw hard. He's going to throw fastballs for strikes early. You got to be ready to hit.
Missed in again at 97. Tommy loved hitting at the Great American Ballpark last year. Couple of home runs, drove in 6, 344 average. 0 for 7, couple of strikeouts in his career against Anthony DeSclafani. And the 1-1 lifted in the air, out to deep right, and that ball will get down. It's a ground rule double, and into the concourse for Tommy Edman. So 1-out double for Tommy Edman on the breaking ball as he drives that in the gap in right center.
Good swing right here. There's a slider, not much of a curveball, more of a slider. I think he does. He's throwing 97 miles an hour. You're just basically doing the hitter a favor by giving him something more batting practice speed. It doesn't break a lot. He didn't get it inside where he wanted it. Just served it up right there for a nice double.
Well, the Reds really stayed away from Goldschmidt in the series in St. Louis. 7 walks in 17 plate appearances. And they stay away on that first pitch, catches the outside corner. He had 3 hits, 1 double. Big numbers against DeSclafani. 478 average, home run, 4 doubles. Love seeing this right-hander. We'll see if that continues tonight here in game 1. And the 0-1. Hit the other way, and that's a base hit. 1-0 Cardinals. Goldschmidt with a single into right. That'll score Tommy Edman, and it'll turn that into 2. Winds up being a double for Paul Goldschmidt. Drives in Tommy Edman, 1-0 Cardinals.
A great swing right here. You know guys that you play well against and you hit well against, and there's reasons why. Usually you see the ball a little bit better, or you just believe that they have nothing for you to get you out. And you can see right here that just goes down and gets a fastball and drives it into right field, and I mean, makes it look really simple.
He's been doing that, hasn't he, Jimmy?
He does a nice job when he hits the ball the other way and stays with it, stays comfortable. He's not really moving around a lot in the box. Not trying to hit home runs, not trying to do damage, and it's just coming.
Here's Brad Miller hitting .302. On the first road trip of the season, he drove in 9 and hit .438. He was on fire through Chicago and hits that out of play. On the homestand, he stranded 18, by the way. So he was coming up with a chance to do some damage. Left nobody on base on the road trip, but left 18 at home.
Those are the frustrating games. Not even just not getting hits, because you kind of get used to that. It's when you don't do anything with your opportunities and you can't drive in runs. You can take your 0 for 3s, your 0 for 4s, but when you leave 5 and 6 and 7 guys out on the base pass each night, that'll kill you.
Shift on the right side, 1 ball and 2 strikes on Miller. And a fastball at 97, and it's 2-2. Goldschmidt with the double to drive in Tommy Edman to make it 1-0. You would think this would be a Reds team that gets a jolt with those trades. Their front office going for broke this season. And a high strike,
wow.
Top of the zone. Miller didn't like it.
That's pretty close to being a strike, but wow, that's tough to take. Yeah, you definitely get a boost. Your team gets a boost from getting some trades, but you still got to go out there and play. You really do, and it's amazing what, I mean, look at you just show up right here and back-to-back doubles, and you're down 1-0 before you can blink an eye. So try to stay positive, try to keep winning games. You know, it's a weird game. You always say, people always talk about how a team looks good in spring training on paper. And I always answer, that's why you play 6 months, or that's why they play the games, because you just never know.
Yeah. There's some talk that maybe Trevor Bauer could be traded. He's a free agent to be, but they held on to him, and they believe with their starting pitching, Sonny Gray going tomorrow, and Bauer, they could be dangerous if they get in.
Well, that's true. If you get in, anything can happen. We all know that.
Sure. Especially this year. First round is a best of 3.
It's going to be wild.
Yeah. A ball and a strike on Cardinals shortstop Paul DeJong. Teams have shifted on DeJong 82% of his plate appearances. That's top 15 in baseball. League average is about 34%.
It's really weird, too, because the guy that really sprays the ball around, but he's one of those guys that will spray the ball in the air and hit the ball on the ground more to pull. Hits about the middle a lot.
He pulls that.
You can see if you, I mean, can't see it, but the outfield is basically straight up, maybe a little bit to pull. Second baseman is kind of, you can take a look at it right here. Second baseman's just up the middle, just enough to see, maybe not on the pull side, but like I said, he's one of those guys that's going to hit the ball on the ground to the left side, but he'll drive the ball from gap to gap in the air.
The 2-2. He had three-hit games during the homestand. He's taking the ball to right a little bit more, too. Outside corner and a strikeout of DeYoung. So back-to-back Ks to end the inning, but back-to-back doubles for St. Louis. And Dakota Hudson, after a half inning, has a 1-0 lead. The Great American Ballpark in St. Louis on top. Numbers, season numbers, 5th start of the year for Dakota Hudson. Jimmy, the right-hander, going for St. Louis.
Yeah, it's, you know, what we talked about. He's got great stuff. Just got to basically throw strikes. And I mean, I love this kid. I think that first time we saw him throw in some big games in spring training, and he got out of 2 bases-loaded jams in one game down in Jupiter last year. You knew right there he was something special, and now it seems like he's kind of just lost a little bit of control of that fastball, and that's really putting him in a tight spot.
There's Joey Votto batting .214 at the top of the lineup.
As he throws one right down the middle, first pitch.
Votto sat after a really rough series against the Cardinals 3 different times last week. 3 games he sat. Offense has been a problem for the Reds.
You really beat yourself up when you struggle. You know, it doesn't matter how long you've been in the game and how old you are. When you struggle, and it starts to really eat at you. And like I said, it doesn't really matter who you are. You're going to doubt yourself. You're going to try and find things, and sometimes you start tweaking in the wrong direction. Tweaking by tweaking with your stance and tweaking with the way you hold your hands and just changing little things, and it feels really good for one day, one at bat, and then it just really sends you in a downward spiral.
Cardinals shift on the right side of the infield, and the 1-2 is hit up the middle, backhanded by DeYoung, off balance throw, and the tag not there. Votto hustling down the line to pick up the base hit.
Standard ground ball right up the middle. But being out of position a little bit with the shift just makes a really tough play on Paul DeYoung. No way for Paulie to stay on the bag at first base.
Nick Castellanos went 1 for 14 in the series against St. Louis. And then against the rest of the Central, hitting .300. He's in the 2nd spot in their batting order. The Jesse Winker, Suarez, Moustakas, Aquino, Akiyama, Freddie Galvis, and Tucker Barnard. He's got 10 home runs. 6 of the 10 have been on pitches inside. That's the most in baseball this year. And with that, Yachty setting up outside. That gets away off the glove of Molina and then off the mask of the home plate umpire.
Definitely a cross-up right there. Yachty was expecting that ball either break more or with it backed up, or he's looking for a fastball. This is not typical right here. That's what you do late in the game when the umpire's not giving you a strike zone. You don't do it early in the game when he's got a big strike zone. You don't let the umpire get hit in the face early on.
So again, we'll see where Yachty wants to set up, because slugging percentage on inside pitches, this guy's the best in baseball. Top slugging percentage. This is a team that 61% of their runs have come via the home run.
It's a good ballpark to hit in.
You bet.
It's a big guy too, 6'4".
Way inside, and again Yachty having a little issue with that.
I don't know if he can't see because of the background. I don't think there's any kind of bright sky out there in center field. I don't know what's going on, unless Dakota's really just not finishing his slider and it's just kind of backing up on Yachty. If he's crossing him up, he's going to the mound, and that clearly isn't the case right there.
So Votto, the runner at second base. The 2-1 pitch.
He's wearing Yachty out right now.
And it's 2-2.
Another foul ball off the hand. Imagine the hands on at the end of the year on Yachty.
The thumb.
The thumb. Even just the pinky too, and all the palm area, and just any part of that where there's like joints just get inflamed. See, he's barely got the glove on his hand half the time, and he's right there. He's pushing it down a little bit more onto his hand. Here's the thing, obvious watching this, but he doesn't get a pitch off. You know, you get a foul tip off the hand, the finger, the glove wrong, and you're got to put your signs down and go right back out there and get the next pitch.
The 3-2 pitch to Castellanos. And a ground ball hit left side, backhanded by DeYoung. Votto staying put and out at the bag. That's a big out. The Cardinals defensively around the horn is presented by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Edman getting a start in left, Carlson in center, Fowler in right. Along the Cardinal infield, Carpenter, DeYoung, Wong, and Goldschmidt, and Molina behind the plate. So Castellanos cannot drive him in or move him over. Here's Jesse Winker. Remember in the series in St. Louis, Winker was one of the hottest hitters in baseball. Came in 10 games before the Cardinals series, hitting .571. He had hit 6 home runs. He went 2 for 14 in the Cardinals series. 8 games since, he's gotten hot again. That pitch outside. On base percentage leaders in the National League. Goldschmidt, number 1, Soto, and then Winker. The 1-0 pitch. 1 ball and 1 strike. Take a look at our Toyota key to the game.
Yeah, we've already a little bit covered it a little bit today already, but my key to the game for him today is the pitch count, and that's basically throwing strikes, getting the ball in the zone, maybe pitching to contact a little bit. He's got to stay in this game through 5 innings to get a win, but also take a look at Adam Wainwright yesterday, giving the bullpen a nice day off. It starts to get really good for the team when they can start piling up those starts and keeping that bullpen off the field as much as possible, because they're definitely going to be used from time to time.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Wainwright, by giving the Cardinals the complete game yesterday, that gave them the day off after over 15 innings of work in back-to-back games.
And that's what I mean. It'd be nice again to get Dakota out there for a good 5, 6, maybe even a 7. And that's just, you know, he's going to have to figure out, he's got such good stuff, how to get the pitch count down, how to keep the ball in the strike zone more. As you see the Hyundai pitch arsenal, where it is a lot of sinkers and fastballs, 4-seam, and you can see the ball moving everywhere. A little bit of changeup with the slider and curveball, and I would think that the slider and the curveball are almost the same pitch at times. The slider can go down, curveball's a little bit bigger break, but big time pitch count guy. If he's got to stay in the game in order to get some wins.
3-2 the count. Asked Adam Wainwright about the game that he plays with himself, and he said he was trying to have 8 pitch innings. He said Mike Maddox had pushed him in summer camp, try to have 8 pitch innings to stay deeper into games.
I think that's a great thing to say. And you know what's really funny is before you even said Mike Maddox's name, first name that came to my mind, Greg Maddux.
Yeah.
Can you imagine just having a conversation about how he went by, how he accomplished that night in and night out for 15, 20 years? Because he gave you pitches to hit, just nothing was straight.
Ouch. So 3-2 the count.
think the key to that is just really keeping the ball on the edge of the strike zone. You're not really trying to get swing and miss stuff. You want guys to hit the ball on the ground at times. You want to put your changeup. You want guys to put your changeup in play. You're not trying to fool everyone all the time.
Pitch number 17 of the inning. Votto, the runner at second base. Lifted down the left field line. Edman hustling over and out of play. But Tommy Edman getting a start in left field.
I saw that the other day. I was watching the game online and saw that he was in left field. It kind of surprised me a little bit, but you got to keep his bat in the game. Got to keep his bat in the lineup.
Well, you need production. O'Neill's been struggling. Bader was dealing with migraines, and we'll see if Lane Thomas will get a run here eventually. 3-2 the count on Jesse Winker. And the next by Dakota Hudson. He struck him out. Tails back in. And that was Maddox-like on a left-handed batter. Gave up on it.
That's what I mean. He's got a lot of pitches that can do a lot of things, and this is his best pitch, this fastball that's going to run, sinker. He can throw it in. He can throw it out. He's got a good slider. Look at the movement right here. And you know what? His next at bat against the same guy, he can throw that same pitch on the outer half, get a rollover ground ball. So many weapons.
Eugenio Suarez batting just .174. On fastballs against right-handed pitching, he's hitting .154. .154. That's third worst in all of baseball.
I wonder what he's hitting against us. I feel like this guy kills us.
And he loves hitting against Dakota Hudson.
And the Cardinals.
6 for 13. He's hitting .152 this season with runners in scoring position. Second worst in all of baseball. But, you know, it's only a matter of time with this guy. He's too good. Here's the 0-1 pitch. I've got to wonder, though, Jimmy. He had shoulder surgery, and it's not really been talked about all that much. You know, you hurt your shoulder, and you try to come back from that. Now, he's not using it as an excuse, but shoulder surgery is shoulder surgery.
Oh, it's no joke.
No joke at all.
It affects everything. It affects your throwing. It affects your swinging.
Lines it into center, and Carlson can't come up with it. Votto will score. And with that, it's a tie game. Again, it's only a matter of time. I mean, the guy's too good of a player.
Yeah, he can hit. And he kills us, like I said. I'd be afraid to pitch to him if I was in the dugout of the Cardinals. Little cutter right there, just didn't get out there far enough, and he stays on it. Joey Votto running the whole way. I don't even know if Dylan Carlson picks that ball cleanly if he's got a chance.
And here is Moustakas. So you go from one guy struggling with fastballs, Moustakas slugging 100 on breaking pitches this year. That's 6th worst in baseball. Couple of hops hit to Colton Wong, and the Reds strand a runner. So the Reds tie it up on the 2-out single to center by Eugenio Suarez. Molina, Carpenter, Fowler coming up. It's 1-1. Download the MLB app to get in-game video highlights, live pitch-by-pitch, breaking news, player updates, stat leaderboards, and much more. The MLB app. In steps Yadier Molina. Overlooked in the outstanding ball game by Adam Wainwright to an extent was the game put together and the milestones hit by Yadier Molina. Became the 3rd Cardinal to reach 2,000 games played yesterday. And he passed Red Schoendienst, 6th all-time on the Cardinals hit list.
Yeah, he has his own stats that are going for him. And by the way, he's not only doing that at the same time, he's also calling the game, which gives Adam Wainwright that 9-inning gem that he threw yesterday. You watch those guys, man. They're on the same page a lot. He's not shaking off too many times. He's not stepping off. They know what they're doing. They know what they want to do.
2-2 the count. And Molina hits it slowly up the third base line. Suarez. Did he get him? He did. Adam Wainwright celebrating his 39th birthday yesterday, and he went the distance. 23rd complete game of his career. His first since 2016. Also collected strikeout number 1,800. And the number of times that Wainwright has started with Molina behind the plate was 269. And that's one shy of 6th all time. Amazing.
Incredible.
Here's Matt Carpenter. Carpenter, 13 for 29, 4 home runs lifetime against DeSclafani. Fastball inside. Well, if the Cardinals are going to do anything in the month of September, one day away, they've got to have somebody step up like a Carpenter, a Lane Thomas, DeYoung, but someone other than Goldschmidt. It's got to happen.
Well, they're going to have to get a group of guys on the same page. You got to put together an offensive force. It can't just be, like you said, a guy here and a guy there. I mean, you got some guys in the right spot. You know, you got Goldie hitting 330 and Miller hitting 300 basically. DeYoung and Yachty right there at the 300 mark. But you said before the game, like with Dexter driving in the runs, having those big at bats at the right time, moving runners over for the guys that aren't the big RBI guys. It just is a total team effort. I mean, you're only 3.5 out, I think, as of today, but you got to start winning games, and you got to start doing it the right way, and just can't really throw your hats on the. Tony used to say you can't just throw your hats and your glove on the field and expect to win because you're good or because you're the Cardinals. You have to earn victories. And I mean, to be honest with you, at this point in this year with some of these teams, it's not really that difficult. You get off to a good start. You get some teams, you know, you get ahead of a couple of teams early in the game, and they're just like, okay, here we go again, and start to fold up.
Dexter is homered in 2 of the last 3, 7 runs batted in his last 7 games. Shift on the right side. And that is in the dirt. 2 balls, no strikes, and time called by Barnhart. While we have a moment, Cardinals baseball is brought to you by Bud Light Seltzer, unquestionably good. By Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the St. Louis area. Find yours at your Mid-America Chevy dealer. And by Jack in the Box, because you asked for it. The Jack in the Box Spicy Chicken Strips combo is back on the menu for a limited time for only $5.99. Cardinals, Reds, Brewers jostling for the second spot in the Central. And one of these teams could find themselves in October maybe as a 7 or an 8 seed very easily.
Like you said, with a couple of arms, you never know.
2-1 pitch. And Fowler lifts it in the air into right center, and that drops in for a hit. Akiyama was playing fairly deep. That hung up there, and Carpenter read it perfectly, and he winds up at third. Good read by Carpenter to be at third.
Take that all day long. Jam shot right here with the big swing, and Center fielder just doesn't really even go after the ball.
Well, we talked about it during the series in St. Louis. Akiyama plays extremely deep.
So deep. It's like Taguchi's twin brother out there. The way his mannerisms are. Carpenter does a nice job right here. He can see it. You can. It's amazing at first base you can read the ball a lot better than you can at second base. And so you get a jump like that, you just go for it. You can totally tell where that ball is going to land in the outfield.
So there's the defense for Carlson. Shift on the right side. The Cardinals 3 for 7 with runners in scoring position yesterday. During the 4-game losing streak, they were 3 for 30. And Carlson has had a ton of opportunities with runners on.
And that's like that's what we're saying. Guys stepping up. It's not all about the average, it's about driving in the runs.
He has been 3 for his last 8 with runners in scoring position.
Who was in the stands that's screaming at Carlson? Did you hear that? What's wrong with these people? They have little voice boxes on the cardboard cutouts now.
You can hear a lot from the dugouts now. 1 pitch, now 0-2. We understand the grounds crew in Cincinnati seriously is very active and loud, like they are.
Sounds like
trying to make a little noise.
Sounds like a high school rah-rah team out there, chirping at the hitters.
Got to get this run home. Runner at third,
yes,
less than 2 outs. Cardinals have struggled in this spot.
Danny, really quick, I just wanted to say hi to my mother. It's her birthday today, and she's watching from Southern California this evening. Happy birthday, Mom.
Happy birthday. Inning started with a ground out by Molina. Carpenter walked. Fowler the single to center. Runners at the corners. 1-2 the count on Dylan Carlson. Another check on Fowler. Starting the series against the Indians, only JT Realmuto had more chances with runners in scoring position since Carlson had been called up.
Well, the thing that young players do, and this is something that I like to talk about with a lot of the guys, is they go out there and they try to overdo driving in the run. Sometimes they try to get the hit, or sometimes they try to drive the ball. You just have to hit a lazy fly ball in this situation. So you stay back and you literally try to lift the ball to left field. And then if anything comes differently, you're under control enough where you can put the ball in play. You get out, you try to do too much, and then you start getting tough pitches like that. And I know when he sees that, when he goes back inside, he's not going to like it. It's pretty much a good pitch for a strike right there as far as our Fox box is concerned. But I think sometimes you're just frustrated that you didn't get the job done as much as anything.
So the strikeout with 2 on. And the Cardinals need a 2-out hit here from Colton Wong. Grounded out to second. There are different ways you can shift, and in this case, the shortstop is near the bag at second, but the second baseman is on the outfield grass, and that's Moustakas. He grounded to him his first time up. Already pitched number 41 from DeSclafani. Out of play, 0-2.
He's got that swing and miss stuff where he's going to throw a lot of pitches. Throws a lot of pitches by guys, a lot of foul balls. A lot of takes. All 4 of his strikeouts so far have been taken. Strikeout looking.
More times than not, Wong is putting it in play. He swung and missed at only 14% of his swings this year. So you like that. He's putting it in play. That's 12th best in Major League Baseball this year. Can he do something here with 2 outs? The 0-2. Puts it in play. Slap the other way for a base hit. He comes through with 2 outs. Matt Carpenter will score, and that's a pick-me-up for St. Louis to make it a 2-1 Cardinal lead.
That's a tough at-bat against a guy throwing hard with a good slider. And you know what? Cincinnati Reds do themselves a huge disservice right here by not going back to a normal defense. I don't care if you beat the shift or not. I'd rather see him have to hit the ball up the middle or in the air to beat the shift. But that's just flat out kind of non-excusable as far as if you watch Colton Wong hit, you know he's going to shorten up and hit the ball the other way with 2 strikes. That was a bad job of defense right there by the Reds.
So runners at first and second, and now Tommy Edman. Ground rule double to right center, and scored on the double right after that by Paul Goldschmidt. Tommy's being more aggressive earlier in counts.
Yeah, he has to. He knows he's getting challenged early. Especially the guys that throw hard. They're going to come at you for strike 1 with the fastball usually. He's got to be ready to hit.
Cardinals face DeSclafani back on the 21st. Took a no decision, went 4 1/3. Couple of runs scored in that game. Cardinals have 2 tonight. Breaking ball, and it's now 0-2. It's been very good against St. Louis, 7-3 in his career against the Cardinals, but has not pitched since that start 10 days ago. He's on the paternity list. His wife Lauren gave birth to their son last Tuesday. In the dirt, and it's 1-2.
That's why you're seeing 97, 98. And the pitch is a little bit erratic. 45 pitches already in the second. Feeling really strong.
The 1-2 pitch to Tommy Edman. And Edman hits it slowly towards first. Votto, DeSclafani to the bag. The base hit by Wong with 2 outs to score Matt Carpenter. That snapped an 0 for 14, and the Redbirds go back on top. It's 2-1.
Colton Wong's RBI single gives the Cards a 2-1 lead as we move to the bottom of the second. Couple of career milestones yesterday for Yadier Molina, but it was clear that Yadi was more excited about being part of Adam Wainwright's 23rd career complete game. After the game, Yadi said, "To be honest, I couldn't sleep last night. It was really special to be in that moment with him. We'll remember that forever." Yadi played in career game number 2000 yesterday, as Dan mentioned, and passed Red Shane Dietz for 6th on the Cardinals' all-time hit list. Yadi was very appreciative of the history involved in those achievements. Yadi said, "We'd love to have Red around here right now. I know he's watching, and I know he's happy for me." Dan?
Good stuff, Jimmy. Thank you. Here is Aquino to lead it off for the Reds as he burst onto the scene a year ago with great home run power. Had that amazing start when he was called up. 19 home runs in his first 63 career games. He had 8 home runs in his first 12 games. Aquino, Akiyama, and Galvis for the Reds in the home half of the second inning, and the Cardinals have a 2-1 lead. And he rips it foul.
This guy just stands up there and takes a huge rip. Only 26 years old.
Mentioned that DeSclafani has had pretty good numbers against the Cardinals. Well, on the other side, Dakota Hudson 3-0 in 6 career games against the Cincinnati Reds. 2-2 pitch. Check swing, and he got him. And the second strikeout for Dakota Hudson. Archaea, give it everything. Dakota Hudson, comparing a season ago to what he's done this year. First pitch strike percentage, pitches per inning, his whip.
That strike percentage, I mean, that's pretty good right there if you think about it. But there's guys that have that in the 80s, 70s and 80s and 90s. And it's really not the, you know, the first pitch strike percentage. It's, I think sometimes he gets that first pitch over and then lets it fly, and then I mean, it's just a lot of control. He's got so much movement. I think he's done a nice job so far here tonight with trying to control his pitches a little bit more. You see he's not really letting it fly. It's not flying all over the place. So just maybe a conscious effort right here to make an adjustment.
One of the adjustments he's made that I've noticed is that, and he's a very good ground ball pitcher. We talk about that all the time, but look at his breaking ball. He's using his breaking ball a lot more this year.
Yeah, he's not saving it for that strike three, bases loaded to get out of a jam. He's using it to get ahead, stay on top of the count.
Backhanded by Wong, off balance throw, and picked by Goldie, and the outs. Well done on both sides.
A great play right there by Wong.
The Gold Glover shows us why, and what a play there by Colton Wong.
You got to get rid of this ball too. You can't slow down, or you can't stop and turn, or he's safe. You get rid of that ball, and does a nice job of even keeping it low in case it has to bounce over there. Nice short
pick.
Hop. Yeah, nice short hop pick by Goldie.
Here's Freddie Galvis, the shortstop, hitting .220. Fastball and a strike. Hudson coming off a game in which he allowed 2 runs in 6 innings. That was a no decision Wednesday at Busch Stadium against the Royals. Struck out 3, walked 3. That was 83 pitches and a 6-5 win. So still these guys getting stretched out a bit after the 17-day layoff, and we'll see how far Hudson can go tonight.
I was actually surprised when I saw the pitch count with Adam yesterday. It went 122, I believe. Figured they'd let him get to 100, but clearly a bullpen needed some time off. And you know Adam, if he's out there and things are going good, he's going to stay out there as long as he can.
Breaking ball again, and that 122 was the most by any starter this year, and Adam is the oldest player in the National League this year. Look at Freedom Way in Cincinnati. Homers for Health is back. Join Matt Carpenter and Paul DeYoung in making your pledge for Cardinal Glennon patients today at homersforhealth.org. And you can make a difference in helping sick and injured kids. Here's Paul Goldschmidt, an RBI double, first time up, and there is strike 1. He's now 12 for 24, 6 extra base hits against DeSclafani. I'd say he's seeing him pretty well.
Yeah, there you have. Everyone has that guy. Like I said, sometimes you just think there's no way this guy's going to get me out. You have that feeling. Seen him a few times. You know he's trying to pitch you.
Two-one pitch. And that one caught his elbow, it looked like, in that protective gear. So first man is aboard, and that'll be Paul Goldschmidt on base for the second time.
Just enough.
I mean, if you're going to get hit, isn't that the way to do it?
That is the way to do it. Caught in the shirt.
Here's Brad Miller with a runner at first base. And Miller looks at a strike. Important stretch for the Cardinals right now. They begin an 8-game road trip. 3 games in Cincinnati, then they'll face off 5 times with the Cubs again in Chicago. Shift on the right side of the infield here. Cardinals took 3 of 4 when the 2 teams met back on the 20th through the 23rd of August. Outfield is deep for Miller. Jumped on that pitch, hit high in the air, out to right. And the catch is made by Castellanos in front of the track, and Goldschmidt back to the bag at first. Tried to ambush that pitch that was up in his eyes.
I like that swing. He didn't get extension. It's almost like you go after it, but you don't swing at it. Just didn't get full extension to the baseball up high.
And the batter will be Paul DeJong.
Yeah, ambush. Probably didn't want to swing at it being that high, but also didn't want to let it go.
Shift on DeJong, outfield straight away. DeJong in his career, 50 games against Cincinnati, 43 hits. And over half the hits have gone for extra bases.
Tell you what, though, Cincinnati is a great place to hit. That helps. Especially for him. I like the thing with a guy like Paul DeJong is you get a short right center field porch and he'll actually aim for it. Kind of like I used to try to aim for left field in Houston. He can do that, and he can stay inside the ball, and that actually helps hitting and not just the home runs.
Galvis couldn't come up with it. Winds up into left, Goldschmidt to second base, and the Cardinals have runners at first and second now. Replace your divot.
Yeah, for sure. You can't give this an error either. He just slid this, but I don't think he's getting anyone out. Is it just me, or do you think that's funny when a guy will go after a ball and will actually overplay it? Like, ball will go in between his glove and his body. And you don't see that very often, but I always wonder what happens there.
And I think the only way he can get it out is to have like that slide and a quick pop up and get a force play at second. That's the only way he was going to get
That's what I mean. I don't think you can give an error on that play at all.
It is ruled a hit for Paul DeJong. Cardinals now with 5. And here's Yadier Molina. Runners are going, and it's second and third. I'm not sure if they were pitching out or what the heck was going on that.
I think he tried to get him.
Tucker Barnhart.
I think he tried to get him to step off.
Great jumps by both Goldschmidt and DeJong, but you have to wait for that lead runner, don't you, Jimmy?
Yeah, you do. I mean, DeJong was so far off the bag. He's just waiting on Goldie to take off. This clearly was a play that they were working on. You sometimes can be out there at second base and know that they're sleeping up the middle, especially with Goldie running. And you start to look at the guy behind you and say, hey, heads up, I'm running here. You get somebody's attention and be like, if they're not paying attention to me, I'm going to take off. You got to come with me.
Infield drawn in. And they have changed the initial ruling on DeJong from a hit to an error.
Can't do that. Come on.
So you talk about trying to have DeJong put one in the seats and right. This is where Yachty will just take one up the first base line too. Look how far they're all off the line here.
Yeah, this is what makes you a better hitter, though, when you can do this kind of stuff and you can try to just hit a fly ball the other way.
And it's 3-1. Matt Carpenter on deck. And DeStefani knows those numbers with Carpenter
love
too.
To see him hit with the bases loaded again.
Carpenter's licking his chops. And Yachty jumps on that pitch. It's well hit. Out to left. Plenty deep. Aquino will make the catch. Runners will tag up. Goldschmidt will score. And DeYoung is in safely. And that'll make it a 3-1 St. Louis lead. Molina brings in his 10th run of the season. 3-1 Cardinals.
You stay on the ball, try to hit the ball up the middle. You get a hanging curveball slider and you just miss it. But all of that because he's not trying to do too much. And nice job on, even though it doesn't really mean much, DeYoung going to third. And just like that, Carpenter has a chance to hit with the bases loaded and 1 out. And now he's hitting with the guy on third and 2 outs.
Carpenter walked and scored back in the second inning. 2-run lead for the Cardinals, and that pitch is taken for a ball. The 1-0. Taken low. Shift on the right side for Carpenter. Tons of room because the third baseman Suarez has got to keep the runner somewhat close to Young at the bag at third.
Just moved away right there. You see he's almost at shortstop.
Yeah, just moved to his left. So ball gets away, you can score. Two and one. I mean, DeYoung can get way down the line at third.
So it'd be hard right here not to bunt. Hard not to bunt. All you have to do is bunt it fair.
Good play by Tucker Barnhart. That's not only about blocking it, but trying to keep it close, too.
Keeping it close, trying to stay square, trying to actually get around it and push it back towards the middle of the field, knowing this ball's going to take off. I just like when these catchers in, they're good. They don't try to do anything special. Just try to keep their body in front of it, try to receive the blow a little bit, and just knock it down.
3-1 pitch to Matt Carpenter, and he draws his second walk of the night. Extends the inning to Dexter Fowler, who had a single back in the second inning. 2 walks, both have been issued to Carpenter. Runners at the corners for St. Louis. And a quick word now from Great Southern Bank.
Check your balance in an instant and let the fun begin with Great Southern Text Banking.
So the Cardinals picked up the 7th sacrifice fly at the Great American Ballpark from Yadier Molina. That's the most by any player who's never played for the Reds at that ballpark. Adam Dunn couldn't get a sac fly.
I think Chili Davis, back when my rookie year, drove in 100 runs for the first time in his career in 1994, I believe, without one sacrifice fly the whole year.
That's hard to do.
I think so too. Some strange stats out there.
Yep. Shift on the right side for Fowler. Takes a pitch high. Well, they're starting to at least walk around and stretch a bit in the Cincinnati pen. Pitch count at 66 now for DeSclafani, who's had a 10-day layoff. Runners at first and third. The 1-0. Missed down and in. 2 balls and no strikes.
You can see he's not missing by much, but he's missing on the opposite sides of the plate where the catcher's standing or sitting. Just a little too strong. When you don't pitch for 10 days, get good velocity, but that pinpoint control is not there.
And Fowler lifts a fly ball out to shallow left to Kino with the catch. Cardinals pick up a sac fly from Yadier Molina. That brings in Goldschmidt. And it's 3-1 St. Louis.
3-1 Cardinals in the home half of the third inning. An unforgettable 39th birthday yesterday for Adam Wainwright, 23rd complete game of his career. Understandably emotional after the game, taking a little cry break before meeting with the media. But don't worry, his younger teammates kept him in check. Jack Flaherty greeting him at the airport with a wheelchair. Waino said he wheeled him all the way to the plane. Waino saying Jack respects his elders. But also a sign of respect yesterday from the opposing team as well. Waino said after the game, many players and staff from the Indians in the dugout saluting him for his performance as well. He said, that's one of the coolest things I've ever had happen to me. That meant a lot. I don't think I've ever had anything like that. Thank you very much, Cleveland. Dan.
All right, Erica, thank you. How about that, Jimmy? He was going off the field. He looked over to his right, and the players from the Indians tipping their cap to an opposing player that just basically shut them down. You don't see that every day.
No, you don't, and that's special. You know, there's some managers out there that really know what they're doing, pay attention, and they don't just teach the baseball game; they teach life, and that's a good lesson for all the younger players. And sometimes it's, you know, that sportsmanship's still out there, and the love for the game, and the fact that these guys in the big leagues are all kind of, you know, it's a weird unit. Even though you battle, you're one of very few that has anything in common with each other. So it's nice to see that.
Might get it from a manager, might get it from a coach, especially at the end of a season series. But the players.
Special.
3-1 to count on Tucker Barnhart. Takes a big rip and pops it fouling out of play. 3-2. Reds scored a run back in the first. Cardinals have a 3-1 lead, home half of the third. Barnhart here, and then Joey Votto and Nick Castellanos. And the 3-2 pitch. Three-two again. Chased a ball and a strikeout. Third of the night. Cardinals Care and Royals Charities are teaming up to feed communities in need, and you can help. Your donation will support the St. Louis Area Food Bank. For more information and to donate, go to cardinals.com/hunger. First time through the lineup, couple of strikeouts, make it 3 now. 4 ground ball outs and 2 hits.
I just got a text from Mr. Hyatt, and it was 1993 for Chili Davis, not 94. I was close.
Well, I was going to lose sleep over that one.
Just want to make sure, you know, somebody's coming after me for it.
There's Joey Votto. Now reached base in 6 of his last 11 plate appearances after a 3-game, what he called mental break. Homered in 2 straight games. That was in the heels of a 18-game home run drought. Nothing in 2, the count on Votto. Infield hit, run scored back in the first.
How do you think that mental break would go over in the 70s, 80s, and early 90s?
Not well. Now when you're making $20 million.
I'll tell you right now, they'd have ran you out of the league and out of the locker room when I broke in.
Here's an 0-2 pitch. And not in a 60-game season.
No, not in a 160-game season.
No.
Let alone 60.
Here's a 1-2 pitch to Votto.
That's why I love when Tony would say, you look like you're getting a little tired. He would ask me if I wanted Monday, Tuesday, whatever day. And I would say, if you're going to give me a day off, give me the one before or after the day off, because one day doesn't do much. But if you get the day off and then your real day off, or you get 2 straight days, Now that's something.
That's a break.
But that's one day you're taking a day off. I see that, but outside of that, I can't imagine sitting on the bench twiddling my thumbs while my teammates are out there sweating and playing hard.
Two and two the count. Shift on the right side and a swing and a miss. Strikeout of Votto. And there's that breaking ball that we were talking about earlier of Hudson.
That's that sharp slider. Tough to pick up out of his hand. You know, the thing that works on with that pitch so well is the fact that he throws that fastball. It's more of a breaking ball, you're right. He throws that fastball at your hip and runs it back, which will speed you up, and then you really don't, you kind of lose track of what you're looking for, and that breaking ball will just eat you alive.
Nick Castellanos grounded out to short first time up. I can understand a mental break. I really can, to an extent. But there's the responsibility of being out there every day, through thick and thin, right?
Yep. I mean, that's the one thing I learned when I came up is, you know, when you're the guy, when you're one of the guys, if you're a starter even, not even the guy, a starter, you're the center fielder, you're the shortstop. You might be hitting 8th or 9th, but you're playing defense. Those guys expect you to be out there, especially your pitching staff. He makes a difference with his glove in 1 out. That wins the game for a pitcher.
Former Gold Glover.
You're different if you're struggling and you're a young player and the manager doesn't want to play you for a couple days. But when it's known that you're taking a mental break or you're getting more than 2 days off as a veteran, that's tough to watch.
1 ball and 2 strikes. And he struck him out, strikes out the side here in inning number 3. And he's up to 5. We head to the 4th. It's Carlson, Wong, and Edman coming up. Time for your T-Mobile ticket to the game. Mike Clevenger, one of the biggest deals this afternoon. The Padres get Clevenger, Greg Allen, and a player to be named. The Indians get a haul. And Clevenger heading to San Diego as they are loaded up, ready to make a postseason run. So Zach Plesac will come up and start tomorrow, and Clevenger then goes to the San Diego Padres. Dylan Carlson leading things off and hits it a mile high on the infield. Calling for it, it's Joey Votto, and he makes the catch. And Dylan Carlson is 0 for 2. There's a lot of speculation over the weekend with the Indians in town that they would trade one of their pitchers and try to get some offense and get an outfielder, and that's exactly what they did. And Josh Naylor will go right into their lineup. Cubs added a little bullpen depth from their left side. They picked up Jose Martinez, the former Cardinal.
Look at the
also Cameron Maben from Detroit.
Look at the shortstop now, where he's playing against Colton Wong. Right back into the old position.
Well, if you go back to the second half of last year that we talked about, you know, when Wong started getting hot at the top of the lineup, remember, he was spraying the ball.
He's been spraying the ball all year this year, too.
Yeah.
He'll hit the ball on the ground to the right side, ahead of the count.
And what's he do? He takes it up the middle.
He beats the shift twice.
They're thinking, are you kidding me?
Well, like I said, if you're going to play the shift, you just can't keep it with 2 strikes, especially with the guy throwing 97 with good stuff. Shift back over a little bit. You got to know that Colton's trying to make an adjustment here, and then now you don't shift while he's being more aggressive.
Now Tommy Edman Ground rule double, run scored back in the first and grounded out. 1 for 2. Cardinals had a double steal. Does Wong want to do some running? They're thinking the same thing. Check on Colton at first base. So 1 out and a runner at first. You know, the other thing about the Wainwright start was a pick me up for the entire team. I mean, they were a tired team yesterday. They just were, Jimmy. You could see it. And it was, I don't know if wake-up call is the right way, but you got a month to go. You got to play the games. And it was just kind of like, you know what? Hey, let's go. You know what I mean?
Was it his start, the start before, or even the start before that, where we talked about not only did he win that game, or he should have, or was it Ponce where we said he should have won that game and he's actually going to affect tomorrow's game too? It's kind of that same thing where he won that game, pitched 9 innings, and now he's going to be one of the probably the reasons why they'll have an opportunity to win this game and even maybe tomorrow night's game because of bullpen depth and rest. And add on to what you just said, the energy level that can bring.
Yes.
And you know what? If Adam Wainwright just walks into the dugout during the game at some point today, or if the clubhouse, and just with that attitude upbeat, you know, he's one of those guys that's very professional and kind of stays to himself as far as his work and everything, but he's a team player. He walks in there fired up and kind of talking a little bit here and there. He's going to keep that team going, and that's just what it's all about, to be a leader. But you're right, it definitely comes on and off the field. That energy level can be felt, and resting that bullpen was huge.
Aquino with the catch and the ball off the bat of Edman, and now the batter will be Goldschmidt with 2 outs.
One of those days when you go into another city on a Sunday afternoon, that bullpen should take the starting pitcher out to dinner. Pay for a nice meal.
Most years, just not this year.
Yeah, just not this year. Send him some pizza.
There you go.
Slide it under the door.
Goldschmidt, a double. And an RBI back in the first, was hit by a pitch in the third and scored a run.
Still look at his base. Don't care about the swings as much as you look at the base. Sometimes when he swings the pitches out of the zone, he'll fall. He'll fall around, he'll move, he'll dive. When his base is that solid like that, he is not even flinching.
One ball and 1 strike. Goldschmidt has homered in 2 of his last 3 games at the Great American Ballpark. I mentioned the monster numbers he's had in his career against this right-hander. Way inside. 2-1. Mentioned that the Cardinals need to see someone else outside of Goldie step it up. It'd also be imperative to get somebody to hit behind Goldschmidt to see somebody pitch to him. Reds essentially did not in that first series.
Well, and that's why Miller's in there today with the lefty. You know, those guys, Tony used to be the master of that. Mike is paying attention to that. You got a lefty that you can throw in there behind Goldie, that when he's wearing out a pitcher, that gives him a second thought of maybe, I don't know if I want to pitch around him here with Miller on deck, and he's hitting 290, 295 with some homers. In this ballpark, make you think twice.
And now he draws a walk.
See what happens here.
I've also given it some thought, and I know you've seen this a ton in your career, especially when you had the MV3, of which you were a part of. But when you want to get somebody going, and maybe it's a Dylan Carlson, put him at second. Bat him second. Now, I know they like Wong and Edman 1-2, but I wonder if Mike's giving him a thought of doing that.
You got to just move guys around, especially if you don't have any true 1 and 2 guys. I mean, I think that right now we kind of have a good 1 and 2 punch, but you know, you just got to get everyone out of their comfort zone once in a while. And maybe you do see some more fastballs if you put the young players up in the 2 hole. And you know, you can have a 1-2 punch, 8-9-1, 9-1-2 the second time around. So there's all kinds of things you can toy with to try to get younger players going.
And I think that's part of the idea of Carlson batting 9th.
I think Joey Votto at the top of the order is a huge waste, but he's your best at bat every time he goes out there. So that's a good way to start the game. Pitcher's got to bear down, get a little frustrated right out of the chute.
Goldschmidt, by the way, has walked in 17 of 26 games this year. Runners advance, and Miller takes a ball down and in. 2 balls and no strikes. Paul DeJong on deck.
You got yourself in trouble right here because Brad Miller can have a good at bat right here. Drive in a run, take a walk, give DeJong a chance. It's just never ends with the pitcher right here. A lot of work.
2 balls and 1 strike. Outfield, especially in right, pretty deep. That's Castellanos. Shift on the right side of the infield. Runners at second and third, and another opportunity for the Cardinals. They've already left 5 on in this game. We're only in the 4th inning. Doesn't get the call. 3-1, and what can Brad Miller do here?
You know what I'd like to see? Maybe that first or second row or in that short porch in right center. Or
let it eat.
Or just to base it up the middle.
And now the bases are loaded. Back-to-back walks. 4th walk issued by DeSclafani.
Still nobody really throwing in the Reds bullpen. 86 pitches.
I think you can understand why they are shy to go to their bullpen. I mean, they've struggled. And here is Paul DeJong. Struck out, reached on an air. And that's low and outside. What a chance here for the Cardinals. Bases loaded. DeSclafani steps off the pitching rubber. Shift on the left side of the infield. Big gap in right center. And the 1-0.
It's an automatic swing right there. That's the excitement of the bases loaded and you're ahead in the count.
He's going to groove one.
Yeah, he's just going to give in. We've all been there too many times.
Miller, by the way, 10 walks since the 23rd of August to lead Major League Baseball. So middle of the lineup, Goldschmidt and Miller drawing a ton of walks. Now can they make them pay? The 1-1. And DeJong sends a fly ball down the right field line and out of play. In the hole now, 1-2. Paul DeJong has never hit a grand slam. Pitch number 90 coming up right here. Michael Lorenzen throwing in the Reds bullpen. One ball, 2 strikes, and the next 2 DeJong. 2-2.
I don't think he's gotten a swing on that ball all night, other than the ball that Miller almost hit out.
That's right.
I don't like
the
that.
ambush swing.
And you keep going up there and up there and up there. And you're just wasting pitch after pitch after pitch. I mean, Clearly he's got a good fastball. Make a better pitch, use that slider. If you're gonna waste pitches, waste something close.
3-2, and they're off with the next pitch.
Exactly why, right there.
Inning started with Carlson popping out. Wong the base hit up the middle. Edman flied out, then back-to-back walks. They're all loaded up here for Paul DeJong. Here we go, 3-2 the count. The next to the Cardinals shortstop. Well, you could see that Barnhart was flashing everything, and DeSclafani wasn't sure what he wanted. And what could be his final pitch of the game, one way or another, who knows? There go the runners, and DeJong sends one out to deep center field. Akiyama back, gone! Grand slam, Paul DeJong. His first grand slam in the big leagues on a 3-2 pitch. Sends it out to center field, and the grand slam for the Cardinals shortstop.
I mean, you could just see this at bat coming, couldn't you? We talk about it, you see it coming. This is going to be the Nissan drive of the game. Paul DeJong's first career grand slam. I almost think you just pitched yourself right into that. You wasted a pitch up high, then you bounce the slider, and then you go to 3-2 and you have to throw a strike.
Wasn't sure what he wanted to come with. Well, it wasn't the right choice. DeJong was ready. Yes, sir. 7-1 Cardinals. Chevy called to the pen, and it's Michael Lorenzen. His season numbers, the high ERA. Pitched a couple of nights ago against the Cubs, and it's now a 7-1 St. Louis lead. Talked about it earlier that DeJong just loves hitting in this ballpark and loves hitting against the Reds. His first career grand slam, 14th career home run against the Reds, his most against any team, 9th home run at the Great American Ballpark, and it's a grand slammer. The Cardinals are the lead. The first career grand slam for shortstop Paul DeJong. Going to be Winker, Suarez, and Moustakas, and the Cardinals now a 6-run lead. It was a line shot to dead center field. And a base hit into right. Over to cut it off, Dexter Fowler. And Winker is aboard last inning. Hudson struck out the side. He has struck out 5 tonight, has not walked a man, and that's the 3rd base hit for the Reds.
Well, he obviously heard what we were talking about early in the game, and he's been doing a nice job of keeping the ball in the zone and getting outs, and this one just hit a little bit too hard for the infielders to make a play on it.
Last Cardinal with a grand slam was Aledmys Diaz back in 2016 against the Cincinnati Reds. 2-0 the count on Suarez, who had a 2-out RBI single back in the first inning. That scored Joey Votto to account for their lone run. And Suarez lifts a fly ball into shallow center. Carlson called off by Fowler to make the catch.
It's a really nice play by Dexter right there. You can tell that I don't think Dylan saw that ball off the bat. Dexter been around the league for so long. It's a nice jump. He's not playing as deep because right field is a little bit more shallow. Goes and calls that ball and makes it easier.
So how about that? The last Cardinal shortstop with a grand slam, Aledmys Diaz, prior to DeYoung moments ago.
I thought you said the last Cardinal with a grand slam, not the shortstop. I was like, wow.
I may have said that, but I meant to say shortstop.
I was going to say, that's a long time ago.
Matt Carpenter might have something to say about that. Here's Moustakas, and there's a strike. Grounded out to second, and he is 0 for 1. And the 0-1 pitch by Hudson. Good job to frame that by Yadia.
Great pitch too, right on the bottom of the zone, the black of the outside and the bottom.
Jesse Winker, your runner at first base. 0-2 the count on Moustakas. Missed in. Cardinals stand pat at the trade deadline after their 17-day layoff. Getting back in action and really just trying to get guys back and healthy and see what they got.
Got a good team. A lot of arms.
I think most would agree if they're going to go anywhere, the pitching is going to carry them. And to the point that we talked about earlier, there's going to be others that have to step up offensively.
And I think you have plenty of horses for that. I think this is a really interesting situation for some teams because some of the teams that usually might not be in the hunt might think they have a shot and go get some guys. And some of the teams that think that have been through this before think, man, what are you going to do in a, you know, with a guy in a big contract or a guy that might put your team
out to right and foul.
You know, might interrupt the clubhouse a little bit. You just never know what you're going to get. Why put yourself in that situation? It was just a short season when anything can happen, and you're only 3 games out from the Cubs, and I feel the way they feel. I think you got a good team standing right in front of you. Why mess with it?
Miami is one of those teams. Yeah, go for it, right?
Yep.
Padres, one of those teams. 2-2.
You know, I think that you look at Mo too over the years, not really quick to want to get rid of guys just because. You know, what are you going to do? You're going to go after someone, give up a couple of young players that are good, and then you're going to retain a guy for a year, maybe a year and a half, and maybe not even that long. And sometimes you just don't know what you're going to get either. There's not a lot of guys out there on the block like in the old days where it just be like, this guy is ready to go and he's a big time player.
4-6-3 on the double play. Wong, DeYoung over to Goldschmidt. The double play. We head to the 5th. Cardinals are proud to partner with Wells Fargo Advisors and thank them for continuing to serve the community through their contributions to Cardinals Care. Cardinals now have turned 17 double plays. Not just those ground ball double plays, but double plays in general. That's at 25 games. Reds have played 34 games and turned 16 double plays, fewest in baseball. Here's Carpenter, And a fastball and a strike. Lorenzen got the final out last inning in relief of DeSclafani, who lasted 3 2/3. We're underway here in the 5th. Carpenter with a pair of walks and a run scored. It's 7-1 St. Louis. Reds, I'm sure we'll see a different looking lineup. They have acquired Brian Goodwin to play, you would have to think, center field or some type of shift in their outfield. He was with the Angels. Archie Bradley will help the back end of their bullpen. You know, if they can shorten their games, that's going to help. I mean, they've had good starting pitching tonight notwithstanding. But overall, their starting pitching has been, for the most part, pretty good. 3-2 pitch here to Carpenter. And Matt hits it to Joey Votto. Lorenzen to the bag for the out. Cardinals baseball brought to you by Ford, the official car and truck of the Cardinals. By McDonald's. Download the McDonald's app for medium fries for just $1 after any Cardinals home run. And by the Missouri Lottery. Every ticket you play gives back to schools across Missouri, so play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. Dexter Fowler, base hit to center and also flied out to left with 2 runners on. And strike one, 96 up in the zone. You know, to your point too, you're a team like San Diego, you've made a lot of moves. And yes, it can be a jolt. It's exciting. It's fun for a fan base. But for those that are in the clubhouse, got to be careful too. You know, if there's good chemistry, those kind of things, yeah, you get talent in, but you don't want to disrupt a lot of the feelings that you have going in a positive way too.
Yeah, especially with those young players in there. And you never know how guys are going to take it. But I feel like that team is really close, you know, really close to being really good. They got some really good young talent mixed in with a couple of older guys. And yeah, you just got to be careful. You just got to bring in, you got to sit down with your players that are new and just say basically like, you get a guy like Tatis and you basically bring up your guy you bring in here and you're like, hey, just let him play. Don't get in his way. Don't, you know, I know you're a veteran, but just let him play his game. You know, just, you know, that some stuff like that happens and you just got to be careful with what you say and do. And you don't want to turn the guy who's your star and have him be upset because he doesn't like what somebody else is trying to bring to the table.
2-2 the count on Dexter Fowler. And a strikeout of Fowler. So Lorenzen has seen 3 and retired 3. Cardinals also had the situation with what they dealt with after the 17-day layoff of trying to get some of these pitchers through waivers. It was complicated too at the 40-man roster.
I mean, yeah, this year is going to be
nuts.
Well, yeah, one of those years that the front office and manager learn a lot of new things, a lot of new moves. I always said that this year, by tinkering with the lineup and ups and downs and being able to manage this entire group, not just the guys you have in the big leagues, that's going to be your biggest asset this year and probably going to be something that's going to stick with you for a long time.
Got to get creative,
Boy,
to say the least.
What.
Change up and a strike, 1-2. Carlson is struck out looking. Came up with runners at first and third, was caught looking and also popped out. 0 for 2. Two and 2 the count on Dylan Carlson. And pops it up again. Barnhart throws the mask. and makes the play. Dillon 0 for 3. We're in Cincinnati and it's 7-1.
Cards up 7-1 as we move to the bottom of the 5th. Matt Wieters and Ryan Helsley are with the team in Cincinnati but have yet to be activated. Wieters is coming back from a toe issue. Mike Schultz says you'll probably see him when the team gets to Chicago. Helsley was on the pregame show today. He told me he's thrown off the mound 3 times, 2 bullpens and a live BP, and feels good. He says he'll be ready when he gets the green light. Danny Schultz says Helsley could be back as soon as tomorrow. Good news for the bullpen.
Jimmy, what else stood out in your visit with Ryan Helsley?
Well, he's really happy to be back. You know, he came back from the COVID list. He said when he had it, he had a temperature, and he was obviously quarantined by himself for quite some time. But he said slowly it started coming back. The first time he threw, he said he got really sore because he was so far removed from pitching. But he's worked his way back, and he's hopeful that we could see him back with the Cardinals tomorrow, Dan.
All right, Jimmy, thank you. Aquino hits it to Wong, and he's got it, spins, and makes the play. With Akiyama coming up, let's take a look at this play by Colton Wong, the BJC Healthcare difference maker.
Nice play backhand, just going to get the ball, knowing he's got to get rid of it. Couldn't really stop and throw it hard, but got to get rid of it and get it out of the glove. And nice play. I'll tell you what, play right before that. I like watching it when the ball is caught before the camera can react. It's a bullet. And a nice play also.
Looking forward to what the Cat has to provide on the post-game show. You know he's not going anywhere.
The Cat. I like when you give knuckles to the Cat. He tries to think he's going to hurt you. He tries to like dig his ring into you. He's like a little kitty cat. It's not like a big cat.
Honestly, I don't enjoy that. I think it hurts.
He's trying to hurt you.
Akiyama, ground ball back to Hudson. He's got it. Flip over to first and the out.
These big old fat fingers. That big ring he's got on his hand.
He tries to hit you so hard with it. There's no need. Just a nice little simple
arm.
pat.
He has no feeling in his hands. His arms are so short, and just like tries to like punch you with it.
How about his FaceTimes on the pregame? Outstanding work.
Outstanding. Except for when he's doing them in the green room sometimes, and I walk in screaming because I think he's just in here sleeping. He's actually on live with someone. FaceTimes.
Well, maybe you should walk in
quietly. Didn't say on air above the doorway.
Well,
wrong
now
room.
You know.
Wrong room.
Freddie Galvis, and quickly 0-2.
Tell you what, I don't know, and I don't want to jinx it, but I don't know what Dakota did between his last couple starts and this start. It's a different guy.
What are you seeing?
I'm just seeing less movement, more control, under control.
And another strikeout, and that's 6 tonight, and he is through 5. Top of the lineup coming up, and it's 7-1. Subway Restaurants, proud to feature the Cardinals fan favorite for August, the Sweet Onion Chicken Teriyaki Sub, fueling fans around St. Louis all month long. We head to the 6th inning. Colton Wong, Tommy Edman, and Paul Goldschmidt for St. Louis. And Lorenzen, another inning of work. Colton Wong, couple of singles, RBI and a run scored. And the first pitch grounded to Votto. Lorenzen to the bag. Nice play. Colton 2 for 4. That was an 8-pitch inning by Dakota Hudson,
which you had discussed earlier in the game.
Adam Wainwright wanted to have efficient 8-pitch innings. The game within himself, he said. Trying to have 8-pitch innings, and that's what Dakota Hudson just did. Here's Tommy Edman. Threw his curveball last year under 50% of the time. This year, it's About 61% tonight, about 75%. Dakota Hudson for strikes.
Well, something has been changed, and he's done a nice job. And I'm going to have to go out on a limb and say nice job, Mike Maddox, also.
It's a broken bat. Tommy Edman, a flip, and he is safe.
You got to love those base hits right there.
Couldn't find the ball, couldn't find the bat, but found the bag and found a base hit.
Doesn't happen very often when the bat goes farther than the ball. That bat died a hero and went into the stands. Oop, I got to run. Hey. That's where this bat goes. Oh, taking folks out.
So the base hit by Tommy Edman here in the top of the 6th, and now Paul Goldschmidt on base 3 times. RBI double, hit by a pitch, scored a run, and walked and scored a run. Exit velocity for Tommy Edman was 43 miles per hour.
And the bat was 67.
Probably right.
Oh, you did him wrong.
Hey, base hit's a base hit, man.
I'm going to have to go with might be the slowest base hit of the year.
It'd be close. Yeah.
Somebody's working
Wong,
on
I
that.
think, had a bunt base hit.
Well, I'm saying full swing, maybe.
Fastball and a strike, 2-1.
I'll tell you what, that stings the hands, but feels good once you get to first base.
Hit's a hit.
What they say, the line drive in the paper in the morning?
That's right.
Well, we don't have papers anymore.
Goldie hits it out to center, and that's another base hit for the Cardinal first baseman. What a year he is putting together.
Taguchi's playing deep. I'm obviously kidding. I think it's amazing how much they look alike. I think their games are like similar. Yeah, he is killing the ball. I thought that ball was going to be hit harder too. It's funny. Have you noticed this year how the ball sounds off the bat because of the empty ballpark? It almost fools you a little bit, even though you've watched a billion games. It just has that louder, and you think every ball's hit on the nose.
Now Miller.
Oof.
And then when you do hit one on the nose, you definitely can hear it. Miller's had a few of those.
Yeah, it's weird though. It's like you can hear so much inside the stadium that it's just every ball sounds like it's smashed. And then the one that goes the furthest is the one that doesn't make as much noise because the solid contact.
Good changeup there, down low.
A lot of changeups in the last 2 innings. Not normally his game.
One and two the count. Miller is struck out looking, flying to right, and walked and scored in the 4th. You also hear a pitcher grunt a lot of times too. I remember Al Leiter was one of those guys. I could always hear him grunt.
Nolan Ryan.
Nolan Ryan, another one.
Even grunting on the curveball and the changeup.
Zach Greinke is another one. But with empty stadiums, you hear it more. Heard it there, and there was the fastball. 93 up in the zone. The strikeout. Paul DeJong has been on base twice, reached on an error back in the 3rd, and then on a 3-2 with 2 outs. His first ever grand slam in the big leagues. And StatCast is powered by Google Cloud. Runners at first and second. And a strike.
Well, you said someone needed to step up, didn't you?
This is the guy. He's starting to get hot, too. Chase that pitch up at 97, 0-2. 0-2 the count on the Cardinals shortstop. And a swing and a miss, strikeout of DeYoung. Back-to-back Ks, 3 tonight for the Renzen. Speaking of strikeouts, Dakota Hudson with 6. He's back out for the 6th when we come back. Dakota Hudson tonight with 6 strikeouts. And Jimmy, what I love, no walks tonight.
So far, he's done a really nice job. I think he's made some huge changes in his delivery. Kept the ball in the strike zone a lot more unless he needed to go outside of it. A lot less pitches than normal. I would say his pitch count is down compared to a lot of his games.
Barnhart into right field. There is Lane Thomas, who took over for Dexter Fowler, and Barnhart is in with a leadoff double.
And back to what you said, no walks, and that's huge for him right now.
That was the 75th pitch of the night. He's averaging about 14 per inning. Last year, he was averaging close to 17 pitches per inning, and that cost him going deeper into games.
Even in a game like this, if he's already at 75, 80 pitches, and it's only the 5th inning, you got to get through it still, you know. And I mean, just think about a couple of pitches per inning. That makes a big difference.
And Votto, a ground ball, slowly hit to the right side. Hudson to the bag.
It takes a long time, I think, for young players of all types, pitchers included, in learning your game. You know, learning that you're not going to strike out 10 every night anymore when you get out of college. And the closers talk about how when their strikeouts start to go down, how they start to move the ball around a little bit more and not try to overthrow. So everyone goes through it. It's just how quickly you can learn. The quicker you learn, the easier it is on you, and then obviously the wins start to pile up if you have good stuff.
Here's Castellanos, who is grounded out to short and also struck out. Six-run lead, infield back with a runner at third and 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th. Take a look at our Kubota power stats. Runs via home run this season, and the Reds nearly 61%. Runs allowed by the Cardinals, 3rd highest. Castellanos with 10 home runs this season. A little bit low, 2-0. The 2-0 pitch by Dakota. Ground ball left side. And Carpenter will just take the out, allow the run to score. That makes it 7-2. He may have had a play at the plate, too.
Yeah, you don't necessarily need that, even though you like to see maybe as a pitcher not allow earned run that quickly. But just go back on Dakota right here. It's a 2-0 count against a guy who can hit the ball out of the ballpark at any time he wants. You give him a sinker in right where he wants it, and the movement allows him to roll over and just hit a 1-2 hopper to third base for the out.
Jesse Winker with 2 outs, run scores, and nobody on. He is 1 for 2 tonight, called out on strikes back in the 1st, and a single to right in the 4th.
I think I'm seeing a little bit more of a conservative windup and a little bit more conscious effort of staying compact, not falling off as much, staying more under control and just letting the ball do its thing instead of getting out front, staying back a little bit, out front a little bit, and just kind of not really having the mechanics together all the way through 4 or 5 innings.
36 career starts prior to tonight. He had never gone 5+ and issued a walk, not issued a walk. I mean, so he is better in that regard in terms of his command. He's never had a game in which he's gone 6 and not issued at least 1 walk, as Winker did that a bunch in the series against St. Louis, where he's dropped to a knee and almost fallen over. Only game he had 35 out of the 36 starts in which he did not have a walk, Jimmy, and that was a game in which he went 4 innings. That's it. So this is promising to see this.
Oh, I can't wait to hear how they break this down after the game and even on the post game and get a chance to hear what Dakota has to say.
Into the shift, there's DeYoung, and he makes the play. We head to the 7th, and the Cardinals on top at 7-2. Take a look at our Bud Light Seltzer, what's on tap, and it's KK in game 2 of this series. We're on the air at 5 on Fox Sports Midwest. Great matchup. Kim against Sonny Gray tomorrow.
Not a fun afternoon for the hitters.
Not at all. Dakota Hudson is through 6, and Lorenzen back out there for another inning.
On that changeup, you can see it in his glove. You see it in his hand. He's just sticking his hand all the way down that glove and maybe taking it easy on the arm. I don't know. A lot of changeups.
7th inning, Yadier Molina. And Molina, ground ball, backhanded. Suarez in the long throw and makes the play. Yadi had an RBI on a sac fly back in the 3rd. Here's Carpenter, pair of walks, run scored, and a ground out. First pitch taken inside by Matt Carpenter. Gateway Honda dealers, home run inning, $1,000 donated to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri if a Cardinals player hits a home run. Two strikes on Carpenter. The more I watch Kim, the more I enjoy it. I mean, he's fun. He's fun to watch.
That stride and that whip of that arm and jumps at the hitter.
Pace in which he works. I'm sure the defenders appreciate that. He's around the plate. And I think, as I've gotten a chance to watch him too, is that I think he's best suited for the rotation more so in the bullpen.
How quickly that popped up and was obvious, huh?
Yeah. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I like him. I like the fact that he goes out there and takes the ball, and like you said, he works quick, throws a lot of strikes.
He talks about a responsibility of going deep into a game and getting innings, meaning he wants to get contact. Strikeouts, it's okay, but he wants innings. Carpenter pulls it to Votto. He'll take it himself for the out. Enter in the Phillips 66 home run kit sweepstakes. Chance to win exclusive Cardinals merchandise like an autographed item. Visit www.cardinals.com/Phillips66 to enter. Lorenzen has come in, done a nice job so far. It's 7-2, and welcome back, Lane Thomas. Will the Cardinals give him a run? I mean, that's, one of the question marks now.
Well, they got a lot of talent out there in that outfield. Who's it going to be? Who's going to step up at the plate? Because they all can play defense.
to the satellite camp in Springfield. But you have DeYoung back. Miller has been the designated hitter, which is a spot that some of these outfielders might be able to go in. Edman is going to play every day. They did not make a move at the deadline, so we'll have to be creative.
Well, the talent is there. Keep talking about it. Now you just got to go out there and do it.
Fastball outside, 2-2. Two balls, two strikes. Lane Thomas. Dylan Carlson on deck. Out of play. So these are where, you know, these types of bats are crucial for Lane Thomas to get playing time. You do something positive, you stay in, you play.
Yep. Same thing with Harrison. You know, he got back on track a little bit. Had one tough game, had a migraine. Got out of the lineup, and then someone else does it, something, and you ride the hot hand. Like, what was that? The phrase of the year this year is going to be ride the hot hand.
And you're running out of games. You're running out of time. Three and two the count here on Lane Thomas. And he'll draw a walk.
See that changeup coming from the center field fence.
So you pick that up by what he's doing in his glove.
Yeah, I can't believe he threw that to Lane Thomas right there, 3-2.
I don't know if you agree with this, but from when Dylan Carlson came up, I noticed it more so tonight than maybe at home. Is he standing closer to the plate?
I don't know. You asked me that. It's been a couple days since I've really watched a consistent at bat. Here's my thing for us, for our angle. The camera angles are always so different. It's hard to really tell. And it does look a little bit like that, but it also looks like we are way off into left center too tonight. And that's the one thing sometimes it gets frustrating as even being a player is trying to watch film on pitchers. In certain cities, it's tough to pick up anything because you're really off so far off to the side. You can't tell if it's a slider or a cutter, or you know, if the ball is actually running or not running, because you get so far over here into left center field, you don't really get the depth.
Slowly hit, and a tag out of Lane Thomas. Carlson 0 for 4, time to stretch, and the banks of the Ohio at 7-2. This copyrighted telecast presented by the authority of the Cardinals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. Dakota Hudson pitching now into the 7th inning. Suarez, Moustakas, and Aquino. Suarez a base hit to center with 2 outs and an RBI back in the first, and flied out to center. 1 ball and 1 strike. You mentioned the delivery earlier. Hudson did try to tinker with that and fine-tune it in the offseason.
Well, I think when you really pay attention to him, and I think if you pay attention to a lot of guys, I'm not even talking about the delivery as far as the obvious, but watch after he releases the ball. He's not falling off the mound all over the place. He's not trying to make the pitches move. He's just delivering the baseball and letting it happen. And he looks a lot more under control. Watch right here after he releases.
Ground ball, charging, Edman, and the pick. Got him. What a play on both sides.
That's do or die for Tommy Edman right there. It's a nice play. Comes and gets it. Just got to get rid of it. Great job by Goldie staying down low. play for the first baseman. You got to get down low like that and stay down there. The ball's not going to come up over your head. If you don't get down there, the ball can get underneath you.
Terrific play on both sides there. One of the ways to get the outfielders playing time is what Mike may do late in games, especially with a lead. You got Bader in center, Thomas in right, Carlson in left, and then Edman going to third base. Fowler out of the game, Carpenter out of the game.
Hey, move guys around, get everyone some playing time. It's like a miniature spring training. You know, not like spring training where you're pushing guys in and out after 4 or 5 innings, but yet you have the opportunity to get a guy in a bat here and there, some defense here and there. When you have a 7-2 lead, you got to take that chance and get guys in there, get them some playing time.
It's probably your best defensive group too.
Yeah.
Here's a 1-1 pitch. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Pitch count at 90 for Dakota Hudson. So on the heels of what you saw from Adam Wainwright yesterday, now another starter going fairly deep into a game, and this is exactly what the Cardinals needed to get back on track.
That's what every team needs right about now, but especially the Cardinals, the way they struggled with the COVID situation and the starters having to come back and start all over again. This is great news.
Ground ball, Hudson knocks it down and makes the play for out number 2. Waves off the training staff and says he's fine. Cardinal baseball brought to you by Bud Light Seltzer, unquestionably good. St. Louis Children's Hospital and Washington University physicians, doing what's right for kids. And by Toyota. See where Toyota takes you. Test drive one at your Toyota dealer. Toyota, let's go places. Hudson says, come on, guys, I'm fine. It's Chris Conroy of the Cardinal medical team. Hit the inside of his left foot and says he's fine. Hudson looking to finish 7 innings of work for only the 2nd time in his career away from Busch Stadium. Remember, most of the time his best work has been at home. This is a ballpark that just is not easy to pitch in.
No, especially as a young player, you get all out of whack on the road and timing's all off, and think about tonight's start time is all wonky with the 40 start, and just like, when you're at home, you have everything down to a science, and where you're going to eat, and what time you're going to get to the ballpark, and time you need to go out to the bullpen. Stuff like that matters.
And a team that's hitting a ton of home runs in a ballpark that sees its fair share of them. 0-2 pitch. Aquino takes it low and outside. And it's 1-2. He is struck out and grounded out. Well, Waino was well over 100 pitches yesterday. This is pitch number 95. Austin Gomber has been throwing in the Cardinal pen. He got him, and a strikeout, number 7 tonight for Dakota Hudson. He is through 7, and it's a 7-2 St. Louis lead. Youth baseball and softball coaches help positively shape the lives of their players. The Cardinals would like to celebrate these coaches and need your help. If you or your child has a coach who fits the bill, enter the Coaches Who Care contest presented by Nike at cardinals.com/coaches who care.
Look at an interesting stat right here, Danny. The starters today. Dakota Hudson just finished his 7th inning with 95 pitches. DeStefani through 3 2/3 with 92 pitches. He gave up more hits, obviously more runs, but basically the 4 walks, a lot of 3-2 counts, get behind.
Yeah.
That's the big difference right there. I mean, clearly it's going to happen, but that's just a perfect example of how and why it happens.
One grounds out to Votto. It looks like the night is through for Dakota Hudson. He had 17 balls in play, 13 ground ball outs. 9 ground ball outs on the fastball, 3 on the curve, 1 on the slider. He struck out 7, but 6 were swinging, which is the most he's ever had in a game.
And 0
walks. Love to see that. Tommy Edman, so Wong, the 5th time he's been up, and now Tommy Edman, 5th time through this lineup for the Cardinals. Edman, a 2-hit night. Ground ball to second. Moustakas. Quick word from Cardinal Glennon.
Hey, it's Matt Carpenter. Support Cardinal Glennon Kids at homeisforhealth.org, presented by Heartland Coca-Cola.
On the flip side, you have to be thrilled at what, if you're the Reds, of what Lorenzen has done for your bullpen. He saved their bullpen tonight, in a way.
Well, you did. I mean, you're right. Pretty much.
So Nate Jones coming on, and Lorenzen, after 3 2/3 from DeSclafani, came in and shut the door. 7-2. Chevy called to the pen, takes us to the right-hander Nate Jones, and 13 games this year, 10 1/3, and an ERA over 6. So you see guys like Nate Jones and some of the others, the high ERA, and why the Reds went out and made the move to get to Archie Bradley, trying to shore up their bullpen, shorten some of these games for their starters. We'll see if it makes a difference as we head towards the final month. Paul Goldschmidt on base 4 times. Fastball at 96 and a strike at the knees. RBI double, hit by a pitch, walked, 2 runs scored and a single. Off of Jones, and it's another base hit. He's on base for the 5th time tonight. 5 times Goldschmidt has been aboard. 3-hit night, a walk and a hit by pitch.
It's another one of those plays as a pitcher you just wish you would have let it go.
He does. It's an out probably.
Yeah, it's an out for sure. So 3-hopper to the second baseman. Takes 2 steps to his backhand. Hard to let it go, though.
Brad Miller walked and scored back in inning number 4. A couple of strikeouts and a flyout. And that's fouled back. Reds will have Akiyama, Galvis, and Barnhart due up in their half of the 8th. 7-2 our score. Here's the 0-1. Jones has got a little bit of a funky delivery, doesn't he?
Funky delivery with 98. Usually you see the guy with a funky delivery a little deceptive, and 94, 92. A lot of movement. You don't usually see that with 98. Nasty.
It's a 21st game that Paul Goldschmidt has reached base safely 5 times.
You have to be able to take your walks and grind out some at-bats for that to happen.
A swing and a miss and a strikeout of Brad Miller. Jones gets the K. And Goldie on base 5 times tonight, midway through 8, 7-2. Austin Gomber has 0 ERA and 9 2/3. Andrew Miller is on the injured list, so Gomber moving more into that late inning situation, can give you multiple innings. And here he is in a 7-2 ball game. Remember, he made his major league debut at this ballpark. Took a no-hitter into the 7th. Then the sirens went off.
Oh, yes. You have quite the memory.
Here's Akiyama. Galvis, switch hitter, and then Barnhart. Two pitches taken high. It's the second time, by the way, that Paul Goldschmidt as a Cardinal has been on base 5 times. Second time tonight. Last year in Milwaukee had 4 hits, 3 home runs, and a walk.
In April.
Second game of the year.
Very early.
Austin Gomber is one of 6 relievers in baseball with 9 or more innings of work and a 0 ERA. And no earned runs. None. And start for Gomber was July 24th, 2018. Went 6 in the 3rd, gave up 2, struck out 6. Akiyama lifts a fly ball out to left, going back. Carlson with room makes the catch. Cardinals relievers over the weekend, stats with lows. First 2 days, a lot of work. Then Uncle Charlie took care of the rest.
Did he ever? That's crazy. 15 and a 1/3, 2 days.
Here's Galvis, 0 for 2. Grounded out and struck out. Gomber has had a good fastball. 12-6, Jimmy, and then he has flirted with both the cutter and a slider.
Well, you have to have them all at this level. You do. You don't have to. They all don't have to be great, but you have to have them. And the thing that happens is, some days you'll have the good stuff, some days you won't. So if you can flirt with a little bit of all of the pitches that you can bring to the game at night, you have a better chance of getting guys out with just the reputation. I like that he reached back right there for that fastball.
Two and 2 the count. Dakota Hudson tonight, 7 innings, 4 hits, no walks, 7 strikeouts. 2-2, swing and a miss, and a strikeout for Gomber. 8th Red to strike out tonight.
Just a good hard fastball right there, challenging. Going after guys, especially with the 5-run lead. Cannot walk guys in this situation. You don't want to get behind.
Not in this ballpark either.
You don't want to walk guys. Take solo home runs all day long.
Boy, have we seen some comebacks in this ballpark.
Yep. Big old breaking ball right there.
Oh, 2 the count on Barnhart. Used to be listed as a switch hitter, now only hitting left-handed.
I was thinking about that the first time we saw them.
To be honest, I'm surprised they're not pinch hitting in this spot. Lefty-lefty. It's a tough matchup.
Ooh. Well, guess wrong.
Tucker doubled back in the 6th. He's 1 for 2. Came in hitting 172. Curveball. Little tapper to first. Goldschmidt steps on the bag. And Gomber enjoys a 1-2-3. We head to the ninth, and the Cardinals on top. Paul DeYoung, 3-2, 2 outs, bases loaded. And his first ever grand slam in the big leagues. And DeYoung coming up to start play here in the top of the ninth. Cardinals about to hit the Reds 10-4.
Sorry, you know what you got to love, though? That swing was just so easy. Pulled his hands in a little bit, got backspin. Swing was kind of on plane. Wasn't trying to do too much. Nice looking swing.
Fastball taken high. Take a moment, recognize our season ticket holders of the game. Darren Gasparoni, Deanne Woodsmall, thanks for your continued dedication to the St. Louis Cardinals. 1 ball and 1 strike on Paul DeYoung. Jake Woodford throwing in the Cardinal pen.
Good swing. He's the kind of guy who just kind of stays still up there a little bit. And he starts his swing, and when he recognizes the fastball or something away, he'll just let his hands extend and get longer. And then when the ball starts to run in on him, he'll just pull his hands in. Swing doesn't change much. He just is able to reach out and keep the bat through the zone longer.
There's a strikeout of DeYoung, and it brings in Yadi. Sac fly and an RBI back in inning number 3. Grounded out to third twice and fly to right. So 1 out and nobody on. The first pitch to Molina is hit out of play. That would be your crack of the bat that you hear.
Right there.
And a fly ball lifted out to left field. Aquino. Two quick outs. Reminder, Missouri Lottery Cardinals Live coming up. And here is Bader. You know, Bader was starting to get into a good rhythm at the plate too, and the migraine hit.
Well, it just shows you how hard it is to make adjustments and stick with them during the season. He's trying to make adjustments, trying to hit the ball the other way. Tries to stay level. You see, like, he had some really good games, and you saw him chase a couple of fastballs up when his shoulder started tilting again and like he wanted to pull again. It's just, it's a fine line of just trying to make adjustments on the fly. It's so difficult to do during the season, but you get to the point where you're trying anything when things aren't working. Oof.
Two pitches that looked like he was kind of on right there.
You can see right here, similar swing, but he's trying to hit the ball a little bit deeper, drive the ball the other way a little bit, trying to stay on sliders. Trying to get a little bit more extension, kind of like the Paul DeYoung swing. A little bit more length in his swing and not just kind of coming across it, but like I said, it's so much work in progress to stay with it day in and day out. You lose feel, or you get a guy that you don't really see the ball as well, and then you start, you know, regressing a little bit, or you start to pull off. You see some of those pitches he's swinging out, he couldn't hit before, he rolled over him, and that's the whole thing. It's like You stay inside the ball, you stay inside the ball, then you get frustrated that you're fouling the ball off, even though that's the right mentality. And then the one time you cheat, you roll over a ball and you're back to ground zero. So, a lot of work. Got to give him a little credit, though. He's making an effort. He's making an effort to change his swing and do some different things up there.
1-2 pitch, taken high. 2-2. Is he a little taller at the plate too?
I think he's trying to stand up. I don't know if he's like trying to stand up with his legs as much as its back. He's trying not to get into that crouch, that crouching tiger with that leg kick and then the shoulder coming down. It really creates a hole.
Hit sharply to third. Nice pick by Suarez.
Safe.
And safe.
How about that hustle?
He hit a absolute rocket
Flying
to third
down the line
and beat that out. Man, oh man.
This is a one-hop missile. Well, he takes his time, but this should be a hit. A hit for effort. Ooh.
They may have gotten him, but still, we'll see.
Good swing. Forgot who was running there for a split second.
Wow. Just to make that close, though. Wow.
That is incredible.
So the Reds challenge, and he got down the line, man. He was flying. It was 97 miles an hour off the bat. It was 30 feet per second by Bader down the line. 4.4 seconds down the line.
4.4?
4.4.
From the right side.
That's ridiculous. That's elite. 7-2. Cardinals trying to take game one of this three-game series. And they have a lead of 7-2. And Votto stays with that and takes it the other way.
That's great hitting right there. That's first pitch breaking ball from lefty-lefty. Huge breaking ball. You know what this says to me right here? This is straight balance. Not trying to do anything special. Not trying to drive the ball, pull the ball. Austin Gomber's like, what in the heck just happened? Nobody hits that.
No. So Gomber had a 1-2-3, bottom of the eighth. A single by Votto. Castellanos coming up. And Jake Woodford coming on. Chevy called to the pen, and Jake Woodford is in. His fifth appearance of the year. Seen him as a starter, now working out of the bullpen for St. Louis. Reminder that Missouri Cardinals Live is coming up. The post-game show. Complete breakdown of this one. Runner at first, Joey Votto and Nick Castellanos be at the plate here in the bottom of the ninth. And the Cardinals leading game one by the score of 7-2.
A little Brad Thompson after the game tonight.
Looking forward to that.
Breaking it down. Be interesting what he has to say about Dakota Hudson.
Woodford, the third pitcher used by the Cardinals. Dakota went 7 innings tonight, struck out 7, did not allow a walk. Austin Gomber pitched the 8th, pitched into the 9th, gave up the base hit, and now it's Woodford.
I like this young man right here. It's good stuff. Good fastball, good breaking ball.
And the 1-1. 2-1 pitch now, 2-2. The 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Strikeout of Nick Castellanos, and the first out here in the 9th inning.
Take a look at those hips. Spinning open right here. Look at this. You wonder why he works so well in the inner half. He's already gone with his lower body by the time that slider gets up there and recognizes it. No way right there for him to stay on that pitch. That's why he's so good on the inner half, is he's cheating a little bit, or that's just his swing plane.
Now Jesse Winker in a fastball and a strike on the outside corner. Defensively, Cardinals straight up for Winker in the outfield. Off the line at third, Tommy Edman. Goldschmidt playing a few steps behind the runner at first, Joey Votto. There's that good breaking ball.
What's all of a sudden he doing with this going down to a knee stuff? Been watching Adrian Beltre too much. Good pitch right here.
Well, it worked for him. It was over 3,000 hits.
Wow. You know the problem when you start doing stuff like that? It's hard to get out of it. You know, when you start doing weird things, it's hard to straighten that back out.
The 2-1 pitch to Winker. 1 for 3 tonight, and he rips it in the gap in right center. Bader hustling over. He'll spin and get it back in and holds him to a single. Nice play, and that keeps the double play in order to potentially end this game.
Don't forget. It's a pretty nice swing right here, Danny. A little bit of a cutter. He's not trying to hit the ball the other way a whole lot. He is like locked and loaded. Nice play by Harry right there. Like you said, going over and getting that ball and keeping that the double play in order.
Now Suarez, and they have pitched him off the plate last series. They've done so tonight. Maybe get him to roll over and get the ground ball. Fastball and a strike.
Ball looks like it really jumps out of Jake's hand, doesn't it?
Yes.
Like just
more so than I remember in watching him in spring.
Little jumped at you with the legs and then the arm and then boom. That's when it looks harder than it is. Harder than the 94 that the radar gun is reading.
Gianni setting up outside, and Suarez lifts a fly ball out to deep center. Bader going back at the wall. He'll leap and it's gone. A 3-run homer for Suarez.
Same guy all the time.
And he knew he just got interesting.
By the way, he knew he got it too. Did you see the finish? That's how small that ballpark is.
So a 3-run homer hit by Suarez. Gallegos has been throwing in the Cardinal pen just in case. Cuts a lead to 7-5.
Well, this is why you're always one step ahead. Anytime guys get on base, you're always one swing away from the total.
That pitch is off the plate too.
Ball's up and out, and he stays on it. Look at his body right there. Over the plate, all the power right there. Harry's going to have to do his best Jim Edmonds impersonation climb up on the wall to catch that ball.
So Suarez hits his 8th. He's driven in 4, and now Gallegos coming on. Dakota Hudson is our Bud Light Seltzer player of the game. 7 innings, 4 hits, couple of runs. And he strikes out 7, but no walks in this ball game. So now it's up to the bullpen, and it's an interesting game here, 7-5.
Yeah. And Dakota stepped up big time, too. It's like kind of what we said at the beginning of the game. Can he learn anything from yesterday with Adam Wainwright? And he sure did. But you're right, it just got interesting right now with the 2-run lead.
Got Moustakas here. And the breaking pitch drops in for a strike. Moustakas 0 for 3. Grounded to second, hit into a double play, and grounded back to the pitcher.
What'd you say, in the 8th inning or the 9th inning, that it's a tough place to keep a lead? This ballpark is small. Ball flies. How many different ways can you put it? You got to be careful in this ballpark.
0-1 pitch. Nothing in 2. The 0-2 pitch, fastball up and away. The 1-2. Tried to elevate again.
Tried to rush and elevate right there to catch him off guard.
The 2-2 pitch to Moustakas.
In here, Danny.
And he lifts a high fly ball. Right field line. Thomas over near the sidewall, and it's out of play.
Still waiting to see one of those cardboard pieces take a hit. Someone get a free baseball out of it. See if those things actually move or not.
The 2-2 pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. And the Cardinals 1 out away from taking game 1 of this series.
The old disappearing act right here. Look at this swing. I don't think he really saw it. Pretty good slider right here. That's when I think that's when you're guessing fastball, and especially fastball in, and you just start your swing early because he knows he has a good sneaky fastball, and you start to swing and it just doesn't end up a fastball.
Now Aquino with 2 outs and nobody on. 0 for 3 tonight, pair of strikeouts. Another good slider. No balls and a strike.
They're not giving this young man a whole lot of stuff to reach today. You got to keep him off balance away, maybe run some balls inside and then way back away.
Go with the same pitch.
Why not?
Back to back.
Well, what you can't do is throw the 3rd one in the same spot. You're going to either have to make it shorter, make it bigger. It's got to be off the plate. You can't throw, in the big leagues, you can't throw 3 pitches in the same spot, because if you end up missing a little bit, it's going to get hammered.
And the 0-2 pitch swung on and missed, and it's a strikeout. Gallegos comes in, and the Cardinals win it 7-5, and they take game 1 of the series.
They did, and they hung on at the end right there. This ballpark is never safe, but Dakota Hudson, I cannot wait to hear what Brad Thompson has to say about breaking down Dakota Hudson and see what Dakota has to say about his change of approach tonight with his control.
Outstanding start from Dakota Hudson. Bullpen bends but doesn't break, and the Cardinals win game 1 of the series. They're back to 500. 7-5 the final tonight.